Stay tuned as we check out this brand new Marvel Legends Professor X and his hover chair. Pow and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews. As always, my name is Dan W. Make sure you are following me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. And today is a special day, as in front of me I have one of my personal most anticipated Marvel Legends figures, as no X-Men collection or display is complete without this guy. It is of course Professor Charles Xavier, aka Professor X, and his hover chair, so nostalgic to that 90s X-Men cartoon that I loved so much as a kid, and I finally have it in my hands thanks to In Demand Toys. So at the front of the box you get everything packed with this figure, including some bonuses, including that Shadow King head that you can put on top of the Kingpin builder figure, which I will show off in this review, and of course the Cerebro helmet as well. We get this Marvel 80th years logo at the bottom, as Marvel and of course Hasbro are spending the whole year celebrating Marvel's 80th anniversary. We get a 90s X-Men logo at the front, we get that X at the top, we get a picture of Professor X on each side that I can't really show off because my table's too small. On the back of the box we get that promo image that they showed off when they first revealed this figure back at San Diego Comic-Con last year. On this side of the box we get all of the features with the figure, and on this side it's the first time they've done this. They've actually got a little tease of the other figure in this Rider's Wave, which is of course Deadpool on his Vespa with Dogpool and Squirrelpool. And I do have this guy, so make sure you subscribe to the channel and come back for a full review of this Deadpool. We even get a little write-up for Professor X that reads, Professor Charles Xavier, better known as Professor X, is a highly gifted telepath and scientist genius who develops the Cerebro device to aid in the ability to control and manipulate psionic abilities. So very happy to finally have this, finally have a Professor X in my collection, and definitely my preferred choice of transportation is this hover chair. So without further ado, let's get this guy open. So here is Professor X out of the box with all of the pieces included, and oh my god, it's a miracle, he's standing. Can't believe it, but I'm still going to build his hover chair anyway. So I thought I'd attempt to do this live on camera. So it should be nice and simple, to be fair. There's Professor X, there's Cerebro. Let's just put that on so I don't lose that. Again, I'll show you that in detail in a minute. There's the Shadow King head. I'll show you that in detail in a minute. First, I just want to build this in its glory. So this should be simple, as in they are the main bits. This, I think, is the part he sits on. So that goes in there. This is the back piece, which I believe just slides in like that. And then I think you should just plug it in. I think it is that simple. There you go. That all fits in, nice. Then you can put this piece, plug it in for a stand. There it is. I will show it off in better detail in a minute. Let's get Professor X in there. Can he go all the way in? Of course he can. Get your legs in there, mate. There you go, he's sitting down. So I'll make him look decent in a minute. Let's just make sure it's all working. Let's get his blanket. Don't want him getting cold now, do we? And yeah, simple. Pow, and there is Professor X all built up and looking great. My first impressions are very high. I think Hasbro have done a great job first and foremost with their limitations of the box size and what they could actually do with the figure. They knew the fans wanted this guy, and I don't think they're going to disappoint. I probably will not display mine like this specifically if there's elements that I don't like, but that's just me, my own personal preference. I do think overall it is a great figure with plenty of displaying options, and of course I haven't even mentioned the Shadow King head yet, which I will show off in a minute. But I thought we'd take a closer look at both the figure included and of course the hover chair as well. So first let's take a look at Charles, and it is in your standard Marvel Legends suited body. Nothing we haven't seen before, but this suit is green, the tie is different of course, and there are the first time we're seeing these type of hands on a suited body as well, but they are specific for Charles, but they are perfect. You got like a finger pointing hand, which is obviously for his telepathic powers, and then this sort of reaching out hand. He's got an impressive face sculpt with those impressive eyebrows, let's just say, but they are quite comic accurate if they will focus. So yeah, very impressive eyebrows, Charles. But yeah, if you've got different suited bodies, I'm sure it is going to be no problem to head swap if you don't want him wearing this green suit. But he has wore the green suit in the comics. They didn't just pull that out of thin air. So again, just pulling in some random suited figures I've got round with me. There's a Chameleon, and there we have Everett Ross. These are not going to stand for me, are they? Let's be honest, suited bodies are not the best for standing on their own. There you go. There goes Charles. And I think I've also got Coulson here with me as well. Coulson's probably the closest to it. There he is, stand. Where's Coulson? I've got Coulson with his massive gun because I didn't want to take it off because it's been displayed like this for years. But yeah, I'm sure we could head swap if we wanted to. So let's just try that. Head comes off for Charles. Head comes off for Coulson. And it doesn't fit on the head. It sort of sinks into the neck. But you get the gist. So there's Coulson. Let's put that back on. So it's not a perfect fit for Coulson. What about Chameleon? Seems like a better, yeah, there you go. So it actually plugs onto the head for Chameleon. So if you wanted him in the standard blue suit that we've seen many times, then there you go, it works. And it actually pops on there, as you can hear it as well. And just for fun, the last one, let's try Everett Ross. And it should... There you go, it does. It pops on for Everett Ross as well. So if you just want a sort of modern day, sort of brown, grey suit, sorry, then it works. But let's get him back on the green one. And let's try him with his accessory, which is Cerebro. I'm going to say that wrong several times in this review, but you know what I'm talking about. So I'm not a massive fan of this sort of splash effect. I get what they were trying to do, and I appreciate Hasbro's attempt, but... nah, it just isn't going to work for me. Not quite what I need on my display. But nice try, Hasbro. But I do like the helmet, of course. The helmet, I'm sure, will fit on many Marvel Legends figures. Let's put it on a Chameleon. There you go. See, it fits on Chameleon. But of course, we want it on Charles. And it does just pop on there, not a problem. Just need to line it up properly. There you go. So there's Charles with Cerebro. Cerebro, that's the right way to say it, isn't it? I know what I'm talking about, I just can't pronounce it. And there you go. So that's what you want him to look like in the chair, of course. Reaching out, finding those mutants, whatnot. But I do like the choices for hands. And I'm guessing you could swap out with some other skin tone hands if the skin tone matches with other suited bodies. But yeah, Charles is looking good. Now let's look at the main attraction of this rider set, which is of course the hover chair itself. And I do think Hasbro have done a great job at getting this to us with the limitations they have of the Riders Wave packaging and whatnot. They've done a great job. I think the few complaints people have are very minor. Like they're complaining about the seam down the side here and across the back, which, yeah, it doesn't look amazing, but again, they had limitations of how they could get this figure to us, and I think it is a minor thing. I know a lot of people as well are complaining about the lack of paint and the marbling effect on here, where me personally, I've never really understood the argument with marbling, especially when something's meant to look metal. It doesn't ever bother me when there's a bit of marbling effect in the actual plastic. Doesn't bother me, don't understand people's complaint regarding that, but that's just my personal opinion. Yes, there's marbling effect, but it's meant to be a little bit of metal. It's meant to look metal. I don't see the argument. But maybe some black wash could have popped some of these sort of sculpted details out a little bit more, because there is plenty of sculpted detail, which is nice, but it's just hidden a little bit, maybe. So maybe a bit of black wash would have done it justice, but again, the marbling effect don't bother me, and I can forgive the stem line. Again, it's a minor complaint. I like these little hidden features in the middle. Always loved it as a kid when you got little hidden features in action figures and play sets, and yeah, I really like how they did that, because they didn't have to do that. Just add something out. It's a nice play feature to the figure, because as these are toys after all for kids. Whoops, I've just pulled that off. But yeah, and then that's just a bit of green plastic, but it still looks like a cushion as well, and yeah, looks really good. So let's get Professor X sitting in there. So let's bring him in, and it is nice and simple. You just bend his legs, put him in there. And then there's his blanket, which is just a little ruffled bit of plastic, and again, you just pop it in there, and it sits over his legs, nice and easy, not a problem at all. And yeah, looks really, really good. It's got this stand on as well, which does clip off, not a problem, easily. Probably can't see it very well on my white background, but it is just sort of a blast effect, I guess. But I don't feel like he needs it, because I don't feel like it's a rocket ship. It's just a hover chair, and it just hovers. So me personally, it does add a bit of height to it if you wanted it on the display. But for me, it's absolutely fine just sitting there. It's not like it doesn't sit there on its own. So I probably won't use this, but still it's nice that they give us that option. So yeah, Hasbro, I think you've done a great job with this. Very happy to finally add this piece to my collection. Definitely held off on buying those 3D printed ones that a lot of people had. Not that there was anything wrong with them, they look great, they really did. But I always like having official stuff, and I knew Hasbro would get there sooner rather than later, and it is finally here. So yeah, even with the Cerebro helmet, and then obviously the little splash effect, which I, again, don't feel is necessary personally, but I get what they were trying to do. Got to line that up, otherwise it just looks even stupider. But yeah, let's be honest, people. Hasbro, you've done a great job. Fair play. So let's take a closer look at this guy then, shall we? So here we have the Kingpin Build-A-Figure. Obviously a great Build-A-Figure. If you haven't got it, try and get this one. It's definitely needed for your collection. So if you have this, then this little packing with the Xavier hover chair goes on this guy, and you can create your own Shadow King. So let me take that head off, and this head should pop on there. It should. I've not done it yet, but it should. There you go. You heard it pop. And there we have Shadow King. So I'll zoom in and show you that face sculpt, but that is meant to be Shadow King. Here is a closer look at that creepy Shadow King head when he's in his human form. I should have really done a Who Is He segment for Shadow King, so I'm sure a lot of people don't know who it is. But I think Toy Shiz has done one, so go and check out Toy Shiz's channel. I just didn't have time this weekend, unfortunately. But it's very creepy looking with his teeth, and those stupid glasses with their fez is pretty funny as well. And these glasses are removable. Like, you can actually just take them off. They're not glued or anything. So you can literally take the glasses off, and his eyes are just obviously very shadowy. He is the Shadow King after all. And just for fun, I wanted to see if these glasses actually worked on Kingpin's head. So this may go out of focus as I try and do this, but there you go. Kingpin with Shadow King's glasses on. Looks stupid, but if you wanted to. And then these glasses I may have to glue them on because I'm going to lose them in my carpet or something. But they do actually sort of go under the fez, and the fez sort of holds them in place. So yeah, that is your Shadow King. Am I going to display my Kingpin like this? Probably not. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to try and track down another Kingpin just for this display personally. Definitely prefer the Kingpin, but it's always nice to have options. It just shows Hasbro know what they're doing most of the time. So here's Professor X next to some of my favourite X-Men Marvel Legends with Wolverine, Cyclops and Rogue. I can't wait for later in the year when we get a new Beast, a Gambit, a Jubilee. Now I just need them to announce a white outfit Storm, and I'm going to be very, very happy. But these guys look great. I even put the Magneto unmasked head on a suited body, so you could just sort of see how they compare. Of course, we're getting that classic looking red Magneto later in the year in the 3-pack with Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. So we already have our unmasked Eric Lingshaw head for Magneto, which is going to look great for some displays if you wanted to. But yeah, it's all about the X-Men, and let's be honest, these guys look great together. So you let me know what you think in the comments below of Professor X and the hover chair. Did it live up to the hype? Was it worth the wait from Hasbro? Really curious to see what you think. Let me know in the comments below. And as always, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Plenty of Marvel Legends reviews on the channel, and plenty more to come throughout the rest of the year. So as always, my name's Dan W, and I shall see you on the next one. Hang on a minute. That's the wrong Xavier.